I possess to the poor, and surrender my body to the flames, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects. Always our tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when perfection comes, the imperfect disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put childish ways behind me. Now
You've got mail. You've got mail. You've got mail. You've got mail.
School and dress. Clothes and school supplies for everyday fun. Visit School and Dress online at schoolanddress.com. School and dress. Clothes and school supplies for everyday fun. Visit us online, schoolanddress.com.
So, on the screen of your consciousness, observe the day you just had, as if you were watching yourself on the video, or in the movie, or on the screen. Observe yourself getting out of bed this morning, doing whatever you did, brushing your teeth, shower, whatever else happened during the day, very quickly, not going into details, just a quick recapitulation of the day. As you observe the scene, allow any other sensations, images, feelings or thoughts to come to you. Be the silent witness of your own self, experiencing the day that you just had today. Just for a few seconds. doesn't have to be linear, just a few flashes, images, and to the dream work. Every day if you do this, you won't accumulate any stress as you're letting go of what has already happened, and there's nothing you can do to change it. And now having let go, just feel the sensations in your body. Feel your body from the inside out. This also brings you to the present moment. So just feel the sensation.
Sperm production. Each day, a healthy man produces millions of sperm in his testicles. Follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH, initiates sperm production. Testosterone, stimulated by luteinizing hormone, LH, helps sperm mature. Boys become capable of producing sperm at puberty, which usually occurs between ages 10 and 14. During ejaculation, semen transports between 200 and 500 million sperm into the woman's vagina. Looking like tadpoles under a microscope, the sperm move toward the uterus in search of an egg. Only about 100 of the sperm succeed in reaching the fallopian tube and contacting an egg. Most of the time, none of them fertilizes an egg. Release of the egg. About midway through the menstrual cycle, the ovary releases the most mature egg, ovulation. The follicle in which the egg was resting changes into a structure called the corpus luteum, which starts to produce the hormone progesterone. Progesterone, produced during the last half of each menstrual cycle, travels in the blood to the uterus, where it stimulates new blood vessels to provide a nourishing blood-rich lining for the fertilized egg to attach and begin to grow. The corpus luteum stops producing progesterone if a fertilized egg does not attach to the lining of the uterus. As progesterone stimulate to the endometrium decreases, the uterine lining is shed, menstruation. How does the ovary know when an egg is mature and when it should be released? An area of the brain, hypothalamus, acts as the menstrual clock. It makes GnRH, which travels to the pituitary gland, just underneath the brain, causing FSH and LH to be made. At the beginning of each menstrual cycle, the pituitary gland releases FSH, which travels through the bloodstream to the ovary and helps follicles containing eggs develop and make estrogen. On about the 11th day of an average menstrual cycle, the pituitary gland begins making LH. A surge of LH travels in the blood to the ovary, triggers the release of the egg from the follicle, and stimulates the corpus luteum to produce progesterone. At the end of a menstrual cycle in which no egg has been fertilized, the pituitary gland stops making LH. When fertilization
I will look to see what he will say to me, what answer and to give to this complaint.
Then the Lord replied, "Write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets, so that a herald may run with it. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. See, he is puffed up. His desires are not upright, but the righteous will live by his faith. Indeed, wine betrays him. He is arrogant and never at rest, because he is as greedy as the grave, and like death is never satisfied. He gathers to himself all the nations, and takes captive all the peoples. Will not all of them taunt him with ridicule and scorn, saying, 'Woe to him who piles up stolen goods, and makes himself wealthy by extortion. How long must this go on? Will not your debtors suddenly arise? Will they not wake up and make you tremble? Then you will become their victim. Because you have plundered many nations, the peoples who are left will plunder you. For you have shed man's blood. You have destroyed lands and cities, and everyone in them. Woe to him who builds his realm by unjust gain, to set his nest on high, to escape the clutches of ruin. You have plotted the ruin of many peoples, shaming your own house and forfeiting your life. The stones of the wall will cry out, and the beams of the woodwork will echo it. Woe to him who builds a city with bloodshed, and establishes a town by crime. Has not the Lord Almighty determined that the people's labor is only fuel for the fire, that the nations exhaust themselves for nothing? For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. Woe to him who gives drink to his neighbors, pouring it from the wineskin till they are drunk, so that he can gaze on their naked bodies. You will be filled with shame instead of glory. Now it is your turn. Drink and be exposed. The cup from the Lord's right hand is coming around to you, and disgrace will cover your glory. The violence you have done to Lebanon will overwhelm you, and your destruction of animals will terrify you. For you have shed man's blood. You have destroyed lands and cities, and everyone in them. Of what value is an idol, since a man has carved it, or an image that teaches lies? For he who makes it trusts in his own creation. He makes idols that cannot speak. Woe to him who says to wood, 'Come to life,' or to lifeless stone, 'Wake up.' Can it give guidance? It is covered with gold and silver. There is no breath in it. But the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth be silent before him." Chapter 3. A prayer of
Chapter 17. The whole Israelite community set out from the desert of Sin, traveling from place to place as the Lord commanded. They camped at Rephidim, but there was no water for the people to drink. So they quarreled with Moses and said,
"Give us water to drink."
Moses replied,
"Why do you quarrel with me? Why do you put the Lord to the test?"
But the people were thirsty for water there, and they grumbled against Moses. They said,
"Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to make us and our children and livestock die of thirst?"
Then Moses cried out to the Lord,
"What am I to do with these people? They are almost ready to stone me."
The Lord answered Moses,
Walk on ahead of the people. Take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand the staff with which you struck the Nile, and go. I will stand there before you by the rock at Horeb. Strike the rock, and water will come out of it for the people to drink.
So Moses did this in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called the place Massah and Meribah, because the Israelites quarreled, and because they tested the Lord, saying,
"Is the Lord among us or not?"
The Amalekites came and attacked the Israelites at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua,
"Choose some of our men, and go out to fight the Amalekites. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the staff of God in my hands."
So Joshua fought the Amalekites as Moses had ordered. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went to the top of the hill. As long as Moses held up his hands, the Israelites were winning. But whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites were winning. When Moses' hands grew tired, they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held his hands up, one on one side, one on the other, so that his hands remained steady till sunset.
Pregnancy, nutrition, and stretching. Nutrition in general. The demands of pregnancy heighten your need for calories and protein. It is essential that you eat a wide variety of foods, including vegetables, fruits, grains, and protein from dairy products, fish, and meat. Unless you are extremely underweight or overweight, most experts recommend gaining between 25 and 35 pounds during pregnancy. During the second and third trimesters, you should take in about 300 additional calories per day to meet the nutritional requirements of the fetus. Protein. Consume 4 protein servings a day, which can include meat, fish, poultry, dairy. Calcium. Non-fat milk. Folic acid. Folate. Folic acid is found in fresh, green, leafy vegetables. Many grain products are also supplemented with folic acid. Because of the risk of neural tube defects caused by a folic acid deficiency. Iron. Iron is found in foods such as meat, egg yolk, and dried fruits. Fluids. Drink at least 8 cups of water, spring water, filtered and purified, each day. Non-alcoholic. Non-caffeinated. Exercise. Stretching, like yoga, is essential to maintain your muscle strength, aerobic capacity, and well-being. It also builds your strength.
inside. This event causes changes in the egg membrane that prevent other sperm from attaching to it. Next, the egg releases chemicals that push other sperm away from the egg and create an impenetrable fertilization membrane. As the reaction spreads outward, the zona pellucida hardens, trapping any sperm unlucky enough to be caught inside. Outside the egg, sperm are no longer able to attach to the zona pellucida. Meanwhile, inside the egg, the tightly packed male genetic material spreads out. A new membrane forms around the genetic material, creating the male pronucleus. Inside, the genetic material reforms into 23 chromosomes. The female genetic material, awakened by the fusion of the sperm with the egg, finishes dividing, resulting in the female pronucleus, which also contains 23 chromosomes. As the male and female pronuclei form, spiderweb-like threads, called microtubules, pull them toward each other. The two sets of chromosomes join together, completing the process of fertilization. At this moment, a unique genetic code arises, instantly determining gender, hair color, eye color, and hundreds of other characteristics. This new single cell, the zygote, is the beginning of a new human being. And now the cilia in the fallopian tube gently sweep the zygote toward the uterus, where he or she will implant in the rich uterine lining, growing and maturing for the next 9 months until ready for birth.